This is a simple recipe utilizing pantry items, and there are many things that will help with, as they say it, so-called longevity. We use olive oil, which has oleic acid in it. We use a lot of dried parsley and oregano, which has apigenin in it. And of course, the star of the show is the protein pack egg, and the tomatoes has lycopene. So this is part of the recipe. You need to stay tuned to see how we go from this to this. It could be put on rice or your favorite pasta. And mozzarella cheese has been melted on top, which you'll see. And the yolk is perfect. And the egg is perfect. And of course, it's delicious. I'm just going to dip some of this in. It tastes like an egg lasagna with all those health benefits. Stay tuned to get the recipe. We first have to saute onions with red chili flakes. Very simple. A small onion, half of it, quarter cup to up to half a cup. If we put it in right away, the pan is on medium high, it will burn. So up to a quarter cup of olive oil. It won't burn. Then you throw in the onion. And it just has to be a quick chop, nothing fancy. And then, of course, a half a teaspoon of red chili flakes. They're not really that spicy. It just brings up the taste of this amazing recipe. If you like more, which I do, you can always add a little bit more. So I'll add another half a teaspoon. But that might then just kick it up a little bit. While that is sauteing, that will take at least 5 minutes. I can then discuss what we're going to do next. This is a pantry safe recipe. And where we go with this is amazingly tasty and easy to do. And of course, super healthy, which we'll talk about. So I usually can my tomatoes. If you're not in a position of canning your tomatoes, any diced tomato can will work. I like to get the one that has no salt added. The reason why is you can always add salt to your preference, and then as soon as you start adding things with salt already, that just causes it to kind of become not as authentic as you would like it to be. And it can also become overbearing salty. Some people prefer their food to be salty. Everyone has their preference. I hear it sizzling now, which is beyond cool. And we just want these onions to be just translucent. So pretty much see-through. You could even use a non-stick frying pan. I just like using this pan with this recipe. It just keeps the heat evenly among being cast iron. And then if it ever gets super hot, you could always lower it. And it will still keep the heat. We want the tomatoes to simmer. So stainless steel also does the trick. But a non-stick pan will do the job too. So 5 minutes roughly of doing this, depending on if you want to raise it up a little bit, but you have to watch not to make the oil, because it is olive oil, reach a temperature where it will burn. And the star of the show is not just the tomatoes, of course, is the eggs. So let's get this can open and then go to our next step. So it's been a couple minutes. It's starting to get a little translucent, and I did have to lower it a little bit. So with a cast iron pan, the heat stays consistently, and I can smell the red chili flakes, and that just bringing that up a notch, that taste that your grandmother or Nona would do. And that's the little secret that they always would use, is red chili flakes. So we'll wait a little bit more, and then we'll add the tomatoes. Good news, I hear snap, crackle, pop, and the onions are golden with pretty much a see-through kind of look. They're not burnt. You do not want to burn the onions, it'll just ruin the whole recipe. And now we can add the can of diced tomatoes. Just be careful. And there is a lot of water in these tomatoes, so we will need to reduce this for approximately 15-20 minutes. When you see a simmer, the star of this, of course, is the eggs with the tomato. Now we need to just bring it up a notch. So another pantry item, if you have fresh, you can put it on at the end. Half a teaspoon of parsley, dried parsley. I like the benefits, the health benefits behind parsley. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of parsley. And it's so versatile. Oh, I even smell it. Because the tomatoes were much colder, it's going to take a little bit of time for this to get to a simmer, so I'm going to boost it up by putting it to medium-high again. And the next ingredient that I like to use is oregano. So again, half a teaspoon. If you like more, add more. So that's roughly a little bit more than a half a teaspoon. While we're spicing this all up, let's also do salt. I like pink Himalayan salt. And then it's your preference. Again, I'm looking for no more than a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to actually put a little bit less. There we go. And fresh black pepper. Just a couple turns. If you like it really kicking it up a notch, I would do a half a teaspoon of black pepper, but that will make it super spicy, so you have to be careful. Your preference. Now we need to bring this up to a simmer. It's on medium-high. And right away you can smell the herbs and spices that we put in. All pantry safe. Another option, this is very optional, is another little trick, is roughly, I say, no more than a quarter cup of white wine. I have some homemade white wine that I just thrown in, but that's super optional. The sweetness of the wine goes super amazing with the tomatoes. If you don't want to wait, you could put it on super high. Wait for a simmer and then bring it to a medium low. So we're going to wait until this becomes a simmer, and then we will put it on medium low and cook it for approximately 20 minutes. Great news. It is starting to simmer. I like the chunks of the diced tomatoes. Some people, if that's not what you're going for, you can always crush them prior or during the process, but it will reduce a little bit. So it is simmering. You can see the bubbles all around. And you want this to simmer at least 15 to 20 minutes. Again, it's your consistency on how you want to do it. It's beautiful. The smell is amazing. And this is something that's unique, but it will be a go-to on those days where you just want to utilize items in your pantry, and of course the eggs in the fridge. So I'm going to put it to medium now, to a little bit to between medium to medium low. It is simmering. And you want the tomatoes to cook, but also the extra water that's in the tomatoes is evaporating, which will make the tomato a little bit thicker prior to us adding the eggs. So it's almost 15 minutes. You can see that it's a little bit thicker. You can see that the tomatoes did break up a little bit. It's still simmering. Again, I do want to see pieces of tomato, so I'm not going to crush the tomatoes, but if that's something that is my preference, it's getting a little bit thicker. I do want to add another 5 minutes to this. So this is approximately 15 minutes simmering. It's not sticking, as you can see, even though it's not a non-stick pan. And there we go. We'll wait 5 more minutes. I'll set the timer for 5 minutes so I can do other things while it simmers and makes the house smell fantastic. So it's almost 5 minutes. Now it's 5 minutes. Let's look at this. Oh, beautiful. This is the consistency I want. This is awesome. So I'm going to stir it up again. You can see those chunks of tomatoes, which I love. And now the fun part. This will hold roughly 5 to 6 eggs. What I've done is already cracked them. So all you have to do is make a space like that and gently pour it in. There's one. Two. Three. It is fun. Perfect. That one's moving over. So you can also make it this way, which I want to show you. Right one in the middle. And I kept the biggest egg for that one. So there we go. We're going to set the timer for 5 minutes. And to speed up the cooking process on top, what we'll do is find the lid that is see-through. And then the steam generated from the top, as you can see right away, will help cook the eggs all the way through. And we will be ready in 5 minutes. Timer has been set. And in 5 minutes, it will be delicious. I can't wait to show you. It's almost 5 minutes. Again, it's preference with how long you want to cook the eggs for. You can put the egg and tomatoes on top of a rice or on top of a pasta. In this case, if this is for breakfast, it can just go on a piece of toast. That simple. And it will soak up all the tomato juice. And of course, the egg. So 5 minutes, let's lift up the lid, and there we go. This is optional, grating some fine cheddar or mozzarella. In this case it's mozzarella, but you can also do this recipe with cheddar. And there's salt in the cheese, so we didn't have to worry about adding salt to the egg. And that's not a lot of cheese actually. It was not even a quarter of a block, not even a full cup. Cheese does go far after you grate it. Oh. And now you can either let the cheese melt completely, you can put the lid back on if you want, or you can attack this bad boy. You can use a wooden spoon, you can use any utensils that has holes in it, or an egg scooper. So, we're going to attack the first one that we did, which is this. So I'm breaking it. And if you want the cheese to melt faster, you can press it down. And then the best part. Look at that. Look at that. And if you want some more juice, look at that. Break the yolk. Oh my gosh, that is heaven. That's heaven. If you want the eggs to cook a little bit further, you leave them in. This is beyond cool. Let me take, because it has cooked a little bit more, the middle one. And then you'll see also how cool it is. Again, break it up. Scoop all those nice tomatoes. This would be like the best bruschetta ever. Add some juice on top. Again, break the yolk if you want to see it. This is a perfect time to add some fresh black pepper and enjoy. Again, if you don't want it to be a runny egg, you cook it for another couple of minutes. These eggs will be really well done. I'm going to turn off the stove and just let it marinate in the sauce. This sauce can be used for a lot of things afterwards. You can add it to your favorite rice, your favorite pasta dish, but this is what you're aiming for. Once again, a cool recipe, super healthy, and of course, you need to try this. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and live beyond cool. Take care.